This time on Classic Gaming Quarterly, we take a look at the Everdrive GBA X5 for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. The Everdrive GBA X5 is the latest product in the Everdrive line, which is a series of flash cartridges that allow you to store and play a console's entire library on a single SD card, meaning that you can use ROMs while still playing on actual game hardware. As the name might suggest, this product was designed for use with the Game Boy Advance. In addition to obviously working with the handheld series of GBA systems, the X5 is also fully compatible with the GameCube Game Boy player, as well as devices like the Super Retro Advance adapter. According to the developer, the Everdrive GBA has near 100% compatibility with the Game Boy Advance library, and even supports a real-time clock, most notably used by the Pokemon series, as well as the Boktai games. This Everdrive is also fully compatible with all types of game save data, meaning that there is no reason to patch any of your ROMs. It should be noted, however, that this Everdrive will not allow you to play Game Boy and Game Boy Color ROMs due to the nature of the hardware. The Everdrive GBA X5 ships pre-assembled in a slightly oversized custom-made shell that resembles the shell used for games like Yoshi Topsy Turvy. While the size of the shell has been a turn-off to some who've been keeping an eye on the project, it was necessary based on how populated the board is, and as it never gets in the way is purely an aesthetic issue. When you receive your Everdrive, you will need to supply your own micro SD card. As there have been problems with other brands of SD card, which I can personally confirm, it is strongly suggested that you stick with SanDisk. You can use up to a 64GB card, which is overkill if you're only using it for the GBA, but it's perfectly fine to share one SD card between multiple Everdrives. After formatting the SD card using the FAT32 file system, just download the Everdrive GBA OS directly from the product's website and unzip it to the root directory of your SD card. You then simply copy over your ROMs and organize them any way you wish. As I currently only have a small number of games on my card, they're all just in one folder, but you can use multiple folders to organize larger numbers of ROMs, as I've done here with my Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Now with that out of the way, let's take a look at how this thing actually works. Now unfortunately, I don't have a GameCube Game Boy player, so I do apologize in advance for the suboptimal video quality, as I had to point my camera directly at my Game Boy Advance SP's screen. When you boot up your Game Boy, you'll be presented with the contents of the memory card. The A button selects, B acts as a back button, Select brings up the menu, and Start launches whatever game is already resident in flash memory. When you launch a game, the GBA will reset itself and the game will start. One cool new feature in the menu system is the Start Random Game option, which might help if you're feeling particularly indecisive or just have no idea what to play. There is no in-game menu, so if you want to start a new game, you'll have to power cycle your system. Speaking of the lack of an in-game menu, the Everdrive GBA X5 does not support save states. In explaining why this unit is called the X5, Krikzz mentioned that he's going to use X3, X5, and X7 to name all of his future products, and in doing so create different levels of functionality at different price points, much as he did with the Mega Everdrive and Everdrive MD. This unit being the X5 model suggests that an Everdrive GBA X7 may be released sometime in the future, and that it might have extra functionality like save states and on-cartridge ROM patch application, but that's purely conjecture on my part. For now, this is the only Everdrive on offer for the Game Boy Advance, and at just $99 I certainly see no reason not to pick one up if you're either looking to upgrade from an older GBA flash cartridge like an Easy Flash, or are in the market for one for the first time. That's going to do it for this episode of Classic Gaming Quarterly. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.